Hello and welcome to my channel and to this short workshop on Chaturanga. Now, I know that there are hundreds of Chaturanga workshops out there already, but just in case my way of explaining things helps something to click inside your head, I wanted to put my version of this workshop out into the world. I'm going to teach you two different variations of Chaturanga. One is more suitable for beginners, although it's still quite a challenging movement. And then the second is a more advanced version, which I'm going to show you how to work up to over time as you build strength. Sound good? Okay. Let's get started by coming down onto all fours. And I'm going to start to show you what we're doing with the hands and the arms and the shoulders in Chaturanga. So on all fours, if you spread your fingers nice and wide, and I want you to think about gripping the mat with your hands. So rather than just relaxing the fingers and the hands, you want to feel like you're actively gripping so that the middle parts of your knuckles lift off the floor and then the tips of the fingers press down. You might even see that the whites of the nails go kind of white as you grip down, and then the bases of each fingers also press down firmly into the floor. Okay, then place your shoulders over your wrists and your hands are roughly shoulder width apart. Start to push the floor away. So as I started to do that, did you see the position of my shoulders changed? So I went from just sagging down here, not really engaging anything, to pushing the floor away. This is called protracting the shoulders. Okay, that's the position that we want to be in for Chaturanga. And then, rather than letting the shoulders hunch up towards the ears, you want to drop them away from the ears. So the shoulders are protracted, aka you push the floor away, but they're also depressed, so they're away from the shoulders. So none of this, and also none of this. Push the floor away, and then drop the shoulders away from the ears. Neck is nice and relaxed. Okay, practice that a few times, just getting the position of the hands and the shoulders. And then we're going to come up into a high plank position just to get our stance for the beginner's version of Chaturanga. So push the floor away, lift up the heels, and then try to bring your body into a nice straight line with your core switched on. Then drop your knees, and from here, this is our position to start Chaturanga. So when you're setting up to come down, I want you to check what's happening with your torso first. So no sagging down through the belly. Instead, keep your core nice and strong. So you're sucking your belly in to support you, and then also try not to stick your bum out. You want to switch the muscles of your belly on that will pull your pelvis under slightly. So everything is coming from the core, everything's nice and engaged. Okay, now comes the hard bit. Lowering down in Chaturanga involves keeping this lovely position with the shoulders and the hands, and then bending the elbows so that the elbows hug the sides of the body. So you might have done a push-up in the gym or in some sort of other exercise class where you have your hands wider and your elbows go out to the side. But in yoga, we actually keep the elbows tucked into the side of the body. So it's a little bit more challenging in some ways. And for the beginner's version, we're not going to come down very far. So don't make the mistake of thinking that you have to lower all the way down to the floor. We actually just want a little dip so that we can start to build up the strength to lower down without compromising that position that you just set up. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. So I come back, spread my fingers, grip the mat and push the floor away, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. I'll just come up into high plank again to check my alignment, shoulders over the wrists, belly tucked in, drop the knees and take your knees about hip width apart. You can relax the toes, then keep everything nice and strong. Just bend your elbows and drop down ever so slightly. Then inhale, push back up. Okay, shall I show you that one more time? And then I'll show you some of the things that you can look out for that you don't want to do when you do Chaturanga. Oh, okay. High plank, drop to your knees, shoulders protracted and depressed, and then lower down. Push back up and relax. Okay, now some of the little mistakes that you might tend to make when you do Chaturanga, one of them is the position of the shoulders. So I think I showed you already that sometimes when you come down, you kind of want to round your shoulders, and the front of the shoulders wants to dip down towards the floor. Try to avoid doing that because it puts strain on the wrong part of your shoulders, parts of the shoulders that are not strong enough to hold you up. So try to keep the shoulders in that nice position that we did at the beginning, where you push the floor away and drop the shoulders away from the ears. Okay? Other things to avoid are doing anything weird with the neck. So, some people, as they're coming down, will try to drop the head, which is not going to help at all, because you're just adding the weight of your head really to the movement, to the weight of you coming down. So instead, try to keep the neck in a nice neutral position, just in line with the rest of your spine. So nice and long. Other things, if your elbows tend to go out to the side, really make an effort to hug them into the side of the body, because if the elbows come out, then it changes the position of the shoulders. And then finally, which I already mentioned, is just thinking about your core. So don't let your bum stick out like this, and also don't arch your back. You want your back to be nice and long with your core switched on, and then all you do to come down is bend the elbows. Inhale to come back up. If it becomes easier over time, so let's say you're practicing a few times a week for a few weeks and you're starting to feel stronger, maybe you can go a little bit lower in your chaturanga before then coming into upward dog. But just take it at your own pace. There's no rush to move on to the next version. Okay, so now let's have a go at version 2, only if you're feeling ready. We're going to do exactly the same cues with the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the core. The only change is that we're going to come down from high plank. So rather than dropping to the knees, we keep the legs straight. And that just adds a little bit of extra weight onto the body that we then have to control as we lower down. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, I'll talk you through those cues again so you can hear me going through them in my mind. Spread the fingers wide, grip the mat, push the floor away and drop the shoulders away from the ears. Lift up the hips into high plank. Suck the belly in to switch on your core. And then for Chaturanga, I'm going to shift my weight forward slightly, keep everything engaged, lower down, and then to come back up, just push. Let me show you what it looks like one more time. You're just watching me, and then if you're ready, then you can join me and I'll talk you through the cues in real time, okay? So one more time, I'll demonstrate. Fingers wide, spread them, grip the mat with your fingers, and then push the floor away to protract the shoulders and draw them away from the ears. Depress the shoulders. Core switched on, so the pelvis is slightly tucked under. Lift the knees, high plank. Keep pushing the floor away. And slightly tilt forwards, exhaling to bend the elbows and lower down. Drop the knees, push back up. Okay, let's have a go together. So come down onto your knees. And let me give you one more tip as you lower down. It's especially helpful in this version of Chaturanga. When you lower down, try to think about your chest leading the way. So you don't want to overdo it, of course, but if you think about bringing your heart down first, that will help you to come into a nice position with the shoulders as well. So just have that in mind. Let's go together. Spread the fingers, grip the mat, push the floor away. Depress your shoulders away from the ears and then switch on your core. Lift your knees up and tilt forward slightly. The back of the neck is long. Inhale here. Exhale, bend the elbows. Lead with your chest. And then drop the knees and push back up. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions at all, just leave them in the comment box below. If you liked the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. Thanks again, and I'll see you here next time.